Antonio Brown's journey from homelessness to NFL superstardom is filled with incredible highs and stunning lows. But what really made him one of the most polarizing figures in football history? His Hall of Fame-level skills, combined with unpredictable antics, created a character unlike any the league has ever seen. On the field, he mesmerized fans with dazzling catches and footwork, but off the field, his controversial behavior kept him constantly in the headlines. This is a story of raw talent, extreme challenges, and the complicated rise of a superstar who defied the odds. Early life and struggles. Antonio Brown faced incredible odds from the start. Raised by his mother, Adrienne, in a dangerous neighborhood of Liberty City, Miami, he witnessed crime and violence at an early age. One of his earliest memories was watching a man steal his elementary school teacher's purse. As he got older, every party he attended seemed to end in a shootout. At 16, Brown had a major falling out with his mom's new husband and was kicked out of the house. Over the next few months, he bounced around, sleeping on friends' couches, sometimes even in cars. If he had some money, he would pay for a cheap motel room. His only escape from this nightmare was playing football on the gridiron. Despite being undersized at just 5 feet 10 inches, everything just clicked at Miami Norland High School. Antonio blossomed into a standout athlete, playing quarterback, running back, wide receiver, and also serving as the team's punt returner. But off the field, he seriously struggled. Despite strong interest from several major colleges like Michigan State and Clemson, his grades were too low for them to offer him a scholarship. When those programs had to move on, Brown was set to play at Alcorn State, but learned he was also ineligible there. So, he packed a bag and took a 19-hour Greyhound bus ride to a post-grad prep school in North Carolina. Brown played quarterback there and in just 5 games threw for 1,247 yards and 11 touchdowns, while rushing for 451 yards and 13 touchdowns. His success opened the door to a scholarship at Florida International University, but trouble followed him once again. A dispute on FIU's campus left Brown expelled and his scholarship offer rescinded. At that point, it looked like his football dreams were over before they even started. However, one phone call from an assistant coach at Central Michigan University gave him one last chance. Brown switched from quarterback to receiver, made the team as a walk-on, and finally began to find stability and success on and off the field. High school and academic challenges. At Miami Norland High School, AB blossomed into a standout athlete despite being undersized at just 5 feet 10 inches. There was nothing he couldn't do on the field. He played quarterback, running back, and wide receiver, while also serving as the team's punt returner. Brown was a showstopper as he became a 2-time All-State selection. But as AB was shining on the field, he was seriously struggling off of it. Despite receiving strong interest from several major colleges like Michigan State and Clemson, his grades were too low for them to offer him a scholarship. After these programs were forced to move on, Brown was set to play at Alcorn State. But once he arrived, AB learned that he was also ineligible there. So he packed a bag, took a Greyhound bus 19 hours to a post-grad prep school in North Carolina. There Brown played quarterback, and in just 5 games, he threw for 1,247 yards and 11 touchdowns, while rushing for 451 yards and 13 touchdowns. "I'm just a young kid, 18 years old, just trying to be successful," he said about that time. He was so dominant that Florida International University offered him a scholarship. But as usual, trouble seemed to follow AB. A dispute with a student on FIU's campus left Brown expelled and his scholarship offer rescinded. It looked like his football dreams were over before they even started, until one phone call changed everything. College redemption at Central Michigan. An unexpected phone call from an assistant coach at Central Michigan University gave Antonio Brown a lifeline, a last chance to prove himself at a Division I school. Once a quarterback, Brown switched to wide receiver, a move that changed the trajectory of his career entirely. In his freshman year, he led the conference in punt and kickoff return yards, while also catching 102 passes for over 1,000 yards. Brown quickly felt at home, a comfort he had never experienced before, allowing him to focus solely on football. His impact was immediate and undeniable. Over the next 2 seasons, Brown torched defenses, accumulating 305 receptions for 3,199 yards and 22 touchdowns, alongside 531 rushing yards and 4 rushing touchdowns. His dominance shattered school records, making him the all-time leader in receptions, 4th in receiving yards, and 3rd in receiving touchdowns. Despite a roller-coaster high school journey, this period at Central Michigan marked Brown's true breakthrough, transforming him from a promising talent with academic and eligibility struggles to a record-breaking athlete ready for the NFL. This redemption arc was more than just numbers. It was a story of resilience, adaptability, and relentless pursuit of a dream, setting the stage for the remarkable professional career that was to come. Draft day, disappointment, and rise in Pittsburgh. Drafted in the 6th round, 195th overall, Antonio Brown was overlooked by 32 teams, including all those ahead of the Pittsburgh Steelers, the team that finally gave him chance. This late selection could have been a devastating blow to many, but for Brown, it became the fuel to his fire, the motivation to prove every doubter wrong. Starting as the 5th receiver on the depth chart, he barely saw the field in his rookie year, appearing in only 10 games and catching just 16 passes for 167 yards. This modest beginning was anything but the star-studded arrival many expected from a future superstar. But Brown's reaction to this limited role revealed his relentless drive. Instead of getting discouraged, he doubled down on his efforts in the offseason, working harder than ever to earn more playing time and become a vital target for his team. Entering the 2011 season, he was named Pittsburgh's 3rd-string receiver, a minor step up but still a long way from stardom. Yet, Brown's shiftiness, quickness, and unmatched work ethic started turning heads. He finished that year with 69 receptions for 1,108 yards, showing flashes of brilliance that hinted at his potential. His unique skills also turned him into an elite kick returner, leading to his first Pro Bowl selection. By 2012, Brown had set a new standard for versatility, becoming the first player in NFL history to have over 1,000 yards both returning kicks and receiving in a single season. Recognizing his skyrocketing value, the Steelers rewarded him with a 5-year, $42.5 million extension and named him as one of their starting receivers. What began as a quiet, overlooked draft pick evolved rapidly into a star destined to shake up the NFL. Brown's rise from draft disappointment to one of the game's most electrifying players is a story of grit, determination, and relentless ambition. Peak performance and stardom. From 2013 to 2018, Antonio Brown's dominance on the football field was undeniable, cementing his status as one of the NFL's elite receivers. In 2013, he broke through with record-setting performances, becoming the first player ever to have over 1,000 receiving yards and 1,000 return yards in a single season. This incredible versatility put him in a league of his own. Year after year, AB wowed fans and critics alike with his electrifying catches, ankle-breaking jukes, and game-changing speed. He racked up astounding stats, including 129 receptions in 2014 and over 1,600 yards, along with 13 touchdowns, a career high. His back-to-back seasons of outstanding performances solidified his reputation not just as a top receiver, but as one of the league's most exciting players to watch. Brown's ability to transform games with spectacular plays made every time he laced up his cleats must-watch TV. His elaborate touchdown celebrations and dazzling footwork set him apart from nearly every other player. In 2015, he took it even further by leading the league with 136 catches totaling 1,834 yards and 10 touchdowns, an astonishing campaign for any wideout. The consistency of his performance was reminiscent of legends, as no receiver in recent memory had maintained such a high level for 6 straight seasons. By 2016, even though his stats slightly dipped with 106 receptions and 1,284 yards, his skill and impact remained undeniable. The Pittsburgh Steelers noticed, rewarding him with a lucrative 4-year, $68 million contract extension, making him the highest-paid receiver in the league at the time. This was a clear recognition of his star power and importance to the team's success. Throughout these years, Brown wasn't just playing. He was redefining the expectations of a wide receiver, combining talent, work ethic, and an unrelenting desire to be the best. His peak years solidified his legacy as one of the most talented and prolific receivers in NFL history. Off-field turmoil and controversies. But behind the glory, Brown's antics tore apart locker rooms and headlines. Incidents like throwing furniture off a high-rise, public disputes with teammates, and repeated conflicts with management plagued his career. Legal troubles and league suspensions added fuel to the fire. Trade to Oakland exposed Brown's off-field issues more. Frostbite from his cryotherapy chamber, protests against league rules, and racial slurs aimed at team management marked his Raiders' stay. A brief move to New England ended abruptly following serious allegations, marking a dark chapter. The drama didn't stop there. In Tampa Bay, despite winning a Super Bowl, suspensions and misrepresenting vaccination status led to a 3-game ban. But perhaps the most shocking moment came during a 2022 game when Brown suddenly stripped off his pads and stormed off the field after an argument with coaches. That scene looked like something straight out of a movie, leaving everyone speechless. Since then, Brown has not played another down in the NFL. His off-field controversies raised difficult questions about talent versus behavior and the real cost of superstar status. Decline in short stints with Raiders and Patriots. For the Raiders, the answer was clear. From the moment Brown landed in Oakland, he was a distraction. AB missed part of training camp due to frostbite on his feet from his own cryotherapy chamber, before missing more time in protest of the league's new helmet mandates. Brown also called the team's GM racial slurs and threatened to punch him in the face. Antonio Brown's not in the building today. He won't be practicing. AB later publicly apologized. Be out here today. Want to apologize to my teammates, organization, and said he was excited to move forward, only to demand a release the following day. By this point, the Raiders had no choice but to release him. Brown was then immediately scooped up by the Patriots. But that chapter also ended before it began, because sexual assault allegations against him surfaced. New England released AB after playing in just 1 game. If New England and Bill Belichick could straighten him out, why would anyone else think they could? Brown's career seemed over when he was suspended for the first 8 weeks of the 2020 season for multiple violations of the league's personal conduct policy. But in the middle of that season, it was brought back to life by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brief resurgence with Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In 2020, Antonio Brown's career seemed on life support, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took a gamble that shocked many. Pairing him with legend Tom Brady gave Brown a rare chance to rewrite his story. Despite his controversial past, his exceptional talent was undeniable, and Tampa Bay believed he could provide that extra edge. Over the season, Brown played a vital role in the Buccaneers' dominant run, helping lead them to their first Super Bowl win in nearly 2 decades. It was a moment many thought would never come for him, a chance for redemption. Though he was no longer the same unstoppable force from his Steelers days, Brown seemed willing to set aside his ego and past to contribute to a championship team. The team rewarded him with a 1-year contract to return the following season. But just as quickly as the circus arrived, it returned with a bang. In December of that season, Brown was suspended for 3 games after misrepresenting his vaccination status. Then, during a crucial late-season game, his frustration boiled over. After an argument with coaches, Brown dramatically stripped off his pads and gear before storming off the field and into the locker room. That shocking exit stunned fans and teammates alike, leaving many speechless. Since then, Brown has not returned to the NFL field. His brief resurgence may have rekindled hopes, but ultimately, the drama that long followed him proved impossible to shake. This chapter stands as a complex finale, a glimpse of glory shadowed by chaos, a career marked by both brilliance and tumult. Antonio Brown's story is a powerful mix of triumph and turmoil, from his incredible rise from homelessness to becoming one of the most dominant wide receivers in NFL history, to the off-field drama that clouded his career. His peak years from 2013 to 2018 showed a player with Hall of Fame talent, unmatched skill, and unmatched work ethic. But beyond the records and awards, his legacy is complicated by a series of controversies, conflicts, and legal issues that repeatedly threaten to derail his success. It raises a compelling question about what truly defines greatness in sports. Is it purely about talent, or does character and consistency off the field matter just as much? Brown's career forces us to consider the cost of unchecked ego and personal struggles in the quest for excellence. While he amassed 928 receptions, 12,291 yards, and 83 touchdowns over his 12-year career, the lessons go deeper than stats alone. His journey reminds us that even the brightest stars can flicker and fade amid turmoil. As fans and observers, we are left wondering what might have been if talent had been matched by steadiness and maturity. In the end, Antonio Brown's story will be remembered as a cautionary tale of brilliance marred by chaos, and of a unique career that was as mesmerizing as it was unpredictable.